Hi there, Allie Marie here with My Catholic Perspective. Have you ever seen an ultrasound of a baby at 7 or 8 weeks gestation? For my first pregnancy, we lost our child. So our second pregnancy, we were brought in for a very early dating ultrasound at 7 or 8 weeks. And even with that, you could see a little bean-shaped baby and a little flicker that was constantly moving on the ultrasound picture that showed the heartbeat. Because of this experience and my awareness of, hundreds, millions, thousands of women worldwide, I feel that I cannot believe that more people are not outraged at the ultrasound depicted in Firefly Lane of Tully Hart's baby. Firefly Lane is a Netflix original that has recently been trending. It was in the top 10 recently. And Tully Hart gets pregnant, unknown to her, and basically puts off getting an ultrasound and isn't sure whether or not she wants to keep the baby. They're very pro-choice in this show. But whether you're pro-choice or pro-life, honestly, this ultrasound that they show is so misleading. It is untruthful. And honestly, when they first started the ultrasound, I thought they were going to say that the baby didn't hold because they could hear the heartbeat. So I have an ultrasound of 8 weeks, 1 day gestation right here. And you can see there is a huge black circle where the baby is. And then you can see that it's a little bean shaped. You can kind of see the hand there, the little legs starting to develop. You can see everything that this baby is becoming and that it is in fact a baby. Tully Hart's ultrasound was nothing of the sort. And this is like the bare earliest that this ultrasound in this movie could have been. 4 weeks later at 12 weeks, if the baby had been 12 weeks along, you can see the nose, the facial profile of the baby. You can see everything about this. See baby starting to suck their thumb, everything like that. Tully Hart's ultrasound was nothing like this. There was the tiniest little circle of black where the placenta and amniotic fluid was, and then just this tiny little circle of a baby, and you could see no flickering of the heartbeat, but you could hear it. And they dehumanized the baby so much. And whether you're pro-life or pro-choice, it shouldn't even matter, honestly, because it's dishonest. It doesn't have to be pushing an agenda. It doesn't have to be anything. If you want to support somebody terminating their pregnancy for whatever reasons that you have, I understand there are some arguments that feel legitimate on that side of the aisle. That's fine. But we should be aware of the truth. We should not accept being lied to by Hollywood. And this ultrasound has peeved me so much since I saw it that I can't even stay quiet about it. I don't understand why more people aren't talking about it. When I Google how far along was Tully Hart in her ultrasound, there's nothing. And it baffles me because as a woman who has had 2 ultrasounds at that gestational age, I know how false it was and how misleading it was. That it would at first show just blank, that they're like, oh my goodness, look at that. And you can't even see anything yet. Let alone then when they do show something, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's a little ball. Maybe what you would see on a 6-week ultrasound, but when it is still a sac. But at 8 weeks, when you can hear that heartbeat, I'm telling you, you can see little legs developing, little feet. You can see the little arms starting. It's no question that it's a human being. That is not what was depicted in this ultrasound. And then, like I said, furthermore, if she had been 12 weeks along, which would be a little bit more, you have the full profile of the baby. You have the hand up there, sucking the thumb, everything else. So I'm not saying that, I don't know. I'm not saying that somebody who is pro-choice has to move into this thing. My whole goal is not to make abortion illegal. It's not to shame anybody. It's not to do any of that. It's to make abortion unthinkable. And the only way that we can truly do that is to get mad if we aren't being honest, if people aren't being honest with us. I've been told that if you go to Planned Parenthood to get an abortion, they'll do an ultrasound, but they don't let you look at it. That's so that when something happens in an episode like Firefly Lane, when Tully Hart gets her ultrasound, there's no questioning. Somebody who's never had a child, somebody who's never seen an ultrasound at 8 weeks gestation, somebody who doesn't understand that when you can hear the heartbeat, there's a little flicker on the screen. It's very clear. Not knowing that, being unaware of that, gives Hollywood that opportunity to lie, to perpetuate this lie. And that should not be acceptable. It's preying on women. It's not giving us the full ownership that we deserve. It's not allowing us to make fully informed decisions, which is a huge part of women's health care. I have a cousin who it's taken, 10 years, something like crazy amount of time to get diagnosed with endometriosis. I know the average length of time is 14 years to finally be diagnosed with endometriosis. And at some points, by the time it's fully discovered, when everything makes sense, you have to have a hysterectomy. Now, how is that fully informed consent? How is that a champion on women's health care? Now, this baby that I just showed you has just woken up from her nap, and I need to go get her. You may have just heard her cry a little, so I do need to go. But I wanted to share this information with you guys, tell you that this ultrasound on Firefly Lane was entirely inaccurate. I am outraged by it because it's preying on women. It's not giving us the full sense of the truth, because by the point that you can hear the heartbeat, honestly, the baby looks a little bit more like this. It's sucking their thumb, and it's just beyond me that there's not more out there about this other than it is Netflix. A lot of people, a lot of the faithful have canceled their Netflix account, so people aren't aware of it. But that's why I'm bringing it to your attention, so that maybe you can share this with somebody else. Like I said, whether you're pro-choice or pro-life, there should be an argument to be said for honesty and transparency and the truth about what's inside of our bodies. And it is far beyond a little tiny circle that resembles nothing of a living being, because that is just an outright lie. So I pray that God is able to grant you the resources that you need to draw closer to Him and in turn to those around you. I pray that you're able to make it a great day. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.